Picture this. I'm sitting on a rooftop in Andalusia. It's golden hour. There's a warm breeze, a plate of oranges on the table, and the sky is pink. I've never been here before, and somehow I've never felt more me. Hi, I'm Sarah, and this is Let the Story Write Itself podcast, episode 34. Today I'm talking about how travel opens the portal to your true self. The map may be external, but the real journey is inward. Now, thing is that I'm a Sagittarius in midheaven, so there is something to be said about, your astrological chart and what it pulls you to, whether energetically or just on some kind of soul calling level. It's like a piece of what you're meant to do in this world. And say that the midheaven is like the highest point in your chart. It's almost like the way that you show up in the world. It's how, it often relates to your career. It really has to do with your public persona, your public self in a way, what you're meant to teach and lead and show for others. And so Sagittarius has more of this, it's ruled by Jupiter, which is about optimism, it's expansive energy, it's that almost like happy go lucky energy. And somehow like around like in my 20s, I started allowing myself to almost just evolve and grow into this self because prior to that, I think I had been more almost like trying to be someone that I'm not, which was very much like going the conventional route of going to university and being like a student in that sense, like in a classroom. And it's not that I don't like to learn, I definitely like to learn. And part of expansiveness, that is expansive quality, is that I'm always trying new things. I have such creativity and like bountiful energy within me, but confining myself to just one place, one modality, and also the very linear path of university was just and wasn't necessarily in alignment with who I really was. And, Sagittarius and Midheaven, it's all about expansion. So when I got this inner call, like go travel when I was 17, just on the brink of orientation, brink of university at the orientation, it was almost like my inner soul, like that blueprint that, is long before I was born, is already part of my chart. It's my astrological blueprint, essentially, my astrological map. It's this idea that in logically, it didn't make sense. I'm like 17, I'm still living at home, I've never been anywhere on my own. I've, even get just driven to school, and I don't really, like, this doesn't make sense, right? But it's like that sense of familiarity. It's like this knowing deep within that, like, even though it felt like this little whisper, like, go travel, something about it felt like coming home. It felt like, I always say that even now, this was like way back in like 2005, right? When I was just on the brink of university orientation, and now it's 2025, like over 2 decades ago now. I can still remember that feeling like it was just yesterday, where I was like at the university orientation, and it felt so confining, so constricting that I actually had this feeling of dread. I'm like, I feel like I'm in a jail right now. This is not the vibe. Like, this is just not it. I had this hollow, empty feeling within, literally like cold and dark inside. Never mind that it's a beautiful, like, summer day essentially in my hometown, blue skies, it's lush greens, and I'm like feeling so hollow inside. And I'm just waiting for my mom to pick me up at the end of this orientation. And I have this voice, like this clear whisper come through, go travel. It's so quiet. And it's like this, it's like a little wisp of wind. I don't even, it's like, how do you explain it? It's like, it feels so gentle and felt so familiar. It was like you're like an angel passing, like your soul is speaking to you. It's like who you really are deep down. So it has like this resonance that I still recall like it was yesterday, essentially. But of course, sometimes you live more and in the external world, and sometimes that inward self is not necessarily expressed to its fullest potential. So, when if you've been following the story and you know that I kind of unraveled from that. I unraveled from this almost conditioning, or even just like who knows how it comes about that when you go from childhood to adulthood, how well you're able to keep your own sense of self and that internal, like that core kernel of a nugget within, that is like the semblance of truth and who you really are at core, like in your soul, like beyond the physical, like how well that remains authentic is really, like, I think the measure of success. So at some point, somehow, I I had diverged from that in a sense. At least I didn't allow myself to simply live my truth. And that's where I was operating more from a sense of logic or my head or analysis or outside conditions or what other people thought or were telling me. And that's how it was led to my university career that I completed with a degree, essentially. And then what proceeded after that is I started unraveling for that. I enrolled in a psychotherapy program, essentially. I went to Vipassana. I allowed myself to just hop from job to job rather than be locked into something, which is what occurred during university. I felt locked in and I felt like I didn't have that movement, that freedom of movement, that ability to be an expansive in nature. And so following university, I allowed myself to just do that. I explored many different avenues. I started exploring more like energy work and like Reiki and flower essences and um, other energetic like, yeah, not necessarily yoga, but what was it that I was looking into? There were so many different like transcendental meditation, whatever. And then I had also come across, and like crystals, gemstones, chakras, Ayurvedic medicines, all sorts of different, acupuncture. I just kind of explored so many different things, whether I went to sessions myself or was just like coming across different materials and whatnot. And then I also came across like principles by like, you know, Wayne Dyer and Louise Hay and Abraham Hicks and stuff of that nature. So essentially, just it was about like maybe like a 2 to 3 year period between university and when I finally started allowing myself to just unravel more and simply be essentially. And what happened is I went to like Vipassana meditation. I kind of cycled out of employment and started doing more, I really say like I allowed myself to do door-to-door sales after having been in more like just salaried or waged positions that felt very constricting to my spirit specifically. And then at some point I moved cities to I went to move to Vancouver, BC, which is like a city I'd always gone to like time and again, like throughout my childhood and stuff. But now I was just living there like on my own, and it's like, yay, in your 20s, just living in the heart of downtown, it can be quite fun. And then was I grew up like more in a suburban area in my hometown with like more inoculated. So this was like a kind of like a change of a vibe. And I was like, yeah, like being in a high rise. And it's like I enrolled myself in a life coaching program. And meanwhile, I just took like some part-time employment here and there just for like fun. And essentially just like life was kind of set up in a way that I was like, okay, all is kind of well. It's like I'm enjoying things for the most part. But um lo and behold, as I'm just kind of bopping around through life, I get this feeling, not even a feeling, it's actually a very clear thought. Similar to back when I was 17, I got this thought, go travel. And now it's telling me, go to Toronto. And it's that same small, still voice, that whisper. It's that feeling of like coming home to yourself. It's like that was that voice from within. It's like my soul speaking to me. It's that familiarity. It's like this voice is coming from somewhere deep within myself. It's like, beyond myself, within myself, whatnot. It's not an external voice. I know that. That is something different because that initial voice at 17, go travel, and this voice, go to Toronto, they were both of the same essence. And it was like both of them made no sense. They were both illogical. They both almost like I resisted against it. I was like, what makes that's ridiculous? Like, and I almost had like this like so it was like this thing that my mind didn't necessarily it didn't come from my mind, right? It came from like a spirit, like just something within that it felt very honest. Like the essence of it felt very truthful and familiar, even though the actual like logistics of it, like, go travel, go to Toronto, is kind of like, wait, but me? Why? Like, I don't have any, why would I do that? I haven't done anything like that before. So you start seeking like, eh, past experiences. Like, have I done this before? Can I do this? How would I do this? You start thinking about the hows and the whys and whatnot. And really, what you need to do is just trust. You need to just be like, oh, there's that voice. You lead with your intuition. So, this isn't about analysis. This isn't about like justification. This isn't about like searching for the hows. This is just like, it's just like quiet knowing. She's like, yep, got it. So at this point, after having gone through the university experience and now like spent a couple years or so unraveling myself and now kind of like brought myself to a certain level of joy and gratitude and appreciation for life where I'm kind of just doing my own thing. It's kind of like piecemeal together kind of thing, like have different activities going on. I'm just like doing the like la la la, and then I get this nudge again, and now it's like this sharp focus. It's like whoa. It's like suddenly it's not just about like okay doing things. It's like this isn't about like doing something. It's almost just like a reminder. And that's like the core energetic difference. This isn't like, okay, maybe you want to enroll in a life coaching program. Maybe you want to move to this city. Maybe you want to do this. And like these are all things that, kind of evolved organically along the way on my path. But it's like, it's almost like it's bringing you closer to that vortex, as Abraham Hicks references constantly. It's like that energetic place where it's like you're in your zone, you're in your who you really are. And it's that almost like getting the closer you get to it, the more ideas flow to you and the more in sync those ideas are. So it's funny that at 17, you know, I was in enough of the vortex, like close enough to it that that voice could whisper to me. That I could hear that voice, like having that download available. It means like I've always had a very like open in a way, like open to those energetic downloads. Like I've always felt very intuitive in that sense. Um, and then the question is, am I actually just living, breathing, expressing it essentially? So this was the opportunity where I said yes to myself at this point, and I took the train to Toronto. I took the 4-day train on a one way ticket, and then from there, I just allowed myself to like be in the unknown. Like I didn't have to have a plan. I got to Toronto. I was there for a month, and then from there, I didn't have any plans to go back to Vancouver. And the next thing I know, Soul is calling me to Spain, and then from Spain, I'm getting more intuitive callings. It's calling me to the south of Spain, Andalusia, Malaga in particular. And this is the scene I'm describing. I was there for 2 months, and the sunsets there in Andalusia. This was around May of 2016 are incredible. They are like so colorful. It's like so vibrant. It's like a piece of the earth that like I've never seen before, right? And it's this idea that it's almost like it's foreign, yet it's that familiarity because it's like I was leading with soul, with intuition. And so as I'm in this place that's like foreign on the external, it's not really even about the place. It's this idea that like how I'm like in this foreign country, as I open this episode with, the map it may be external. So I'm an external country, like foreign country in the external world. And but the real journey is that inward, it's opening the portal to your true self because it's not that wasn't my true self to begin with. And like, even when I was a kid and when I had that nudge to go travel at 17, it's like, of course I was my true self. But what it really is allowing yourself to become a more expanded version of that, and um, expanding into more of who you really are, deepening that authenticity. And the way this happened is that it really, instead of just being like, oh, I'm just bopping around in my hometown or even just like in the same country I grew up in, right? And lived my whole life essentially. It's like now I'm getting to explore who I am on a different scale, like on a different level, in a more expansive way. Hence Sagittarius and Midheaven is all about expansion. So this is almost like in a way my soul level purpose and soul level calling, where it is, calling me forth to be an example of that expansion, to live on that broad scale, to to go beyond like the borders, so to speak, and explore that it's that inward exploration. So it's this idea that travel is, of course, there can be the external things that you focus on, like the particular places and the cultures and the external bits that you focus on when you're in a new place, of course, all the things that you're exploring in the external world. But for me, it's always been much more of that inner world, that tapping into that inner exploration and that expansive journey that, when I solo travel, that's an important piece of it because I'm very much like in a state of introspection and even just that solitude and that hearing my own voice time and time again, where I'm able to just allow myself to lead with intuition, not necessarily having to negotiate things or talk with someone else or having to discuss things, like just allowing myself to just simply be in that flow state and go where I feel called to, essentially. It's, every place kind of evokes something different in you, but at the same time, it's a familiarity because really the journey is like really the idea is that it already exists within you and you're just accessing more of it through these portals. Hence, the travel is the portal to your true self in a sense because it's not about escape. It's not like, oh, I'm going on vacation. I'm just trying to get away from certain things. Oh, yes, it's such a breath of fresh air to get away from my daily life kind of thing. It's not even about that, right? For me, travel is very much a core intrinsic aspect of life itself. It's like a lifestyle. It's an integration with who you are essentially. It's living, just simply being around the world, wherever you happen to be, wherever you are, wherever you feel called to. The real journey is inward, and in allowing yourself to step through this portal, you're opening up this space where your true self is able to expand, to meet new aspects of itself. That say, when I was feeling this idea that even though I love Vancouver, even though I love my hometown in Alberta, in fact, like I love many aspects. It had this started feeling a bit confining. It started feeling like, okay, I've kind of wading through molasses. There was a sense of feeling like there was a stagnation in my soul. There was something that wasn't actually growing. It wasn't necessarily growing in the way that my soul was calling me to. It's like I was in a life coaching program, sure, but that wasn't necessarily what my soul was calling me to. It's like I needed to live more of life essentially. I need to have the life experiences. I need to allow myself to go on this journey to say yes to myself, to have that lived experience, to to expand my worldview, and to also have that experience of me actually taking that leap and going forth and doing the thing essentially, and expanding it beyond just the classroom essentially, being able to form my own insights and perceptions and integrate those qualities within me. So travel is really means that opens the portal to your true self. It's the portal through which you meet yourself time and again in different places and different locations and different experiences, because you realize that no matter how foreign it is, it actually always feels very familiar. The journey is inward, and so I'm in Malaga in Andalusia, and there's so many. I'm like having tapas, and it's a new place for me, and there's like beautiful sunsets, and it's by like the beach, and um obviously it's a bit of a different climate, and there's so many like oranges, right? Oranges abound in this country, in that country. Like it's like the Mediterranean, right? So and there's like fortresses and castles. So there's like elements that are unique and different to me than what I grow up with in my everyday life in like Canada, which is a different vibe in many ways, and it's a different culture and it's a different language and all of that. But at the same time, it's like, when in being pulled this place, it's funny because I didn't necessarily even know about this place. Like I would never picked out on a map and be like, I'm going there. My soul led me there. It's almost like my soul matched me with whatever place that it felt like, okay, here's the place where you're going to express, like just expand more into who you really are. And like all of it somehow was quite resonant with me. I love orange juice. Like I don't know if I've ever said this, but like when I was a baby, my mom was always like, I love orange juice, like anything that's orange, like yam, orange juice, papaya, carrots, like persimmons. Like I just have like, and even like I know orange is related to, I believe, the solar plexus chakra, the solar or the sacral, one of those, and is it's associated with creativity. So it's so interested. Like oranges would be like had like such a symbolic meaning to me, and like even like the Spanish language. I'm not necessarily like I learned French like I know French, but I don't necessarily know Spanish, but they have like similar roots. Like a lot of the words have very similar Latin roots. So it's also this idea of like roots are the same, and the expression is just might be divergent, different, unique. So that also had like some symbolic meaning to me. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. It's like, yes, it's like the roots being the same, like that sense of familiarity just expressed in foreign form. So it's like I had all these metaphors in my mind that I was kind of like just these intuitive downloads as I was in this place. And then, my name Sarah means like princess in Hebrew. And it's like not that like I didn't choose my name, and it's more just like a biblical name. But I've always known like, okay, my name means princess because I always looked up like baby name meanings and stuff like that when I was like a kid. That's just I don't know. I'm always like looking up stuff for some reason. But essentially, when I was like in this place, they have like this castle in the center of like the town. It's like it's almost like a fairy tale. It's like the fortress, and you can like wander up to the top, and it's like around like golden hour, essentially, like sunsets. It's spectacular, and it feels so dreamy, and it's like a very quaint, like stone pathways and like pink flowers and blossom, and it's like you know, Malaga itself is just like a seaside town. So the whole place feels very much like dream, like fairy tale, like I'm just wandering around in a fairy tale. I'm like, oh my gosh, this also has like some almost resonance with me, princess. And Like, what girl also doesn't like to feel like a princess in a fairy tale? And it's like this fortress, and it was so like quaint and like awesome, and I just loved, like, I was so in awe of like all of just the how beautiful and like bountiful it was, right? And just the how easily I felt so at home in a place I just like I never been to before, right? I was just there on my own. I stayed for like more than 2 months, just over 2 months or something before heading to Morocco. And I was so in awe of just how at home I felt in this place, like just hanging around in these different places. And, and they also have this sweet wine. It's like a Malaga wine is very, very sweet. And I have a sweet tooth. Like I don't normally drink alcohol, but this wine, it tastes so good. It's like juice or something. Not juice, but like it's so sweet and so concentrated. They like your wine glass is just like it's like such a big wine glass, but the wine will just be like a small portion of it because it's so concentrated and so like potent and very, very sweet. And like if you're a sweet tooth, this is the wine for you. I was like, oh my God, it's like the best wine ever. Because I normally don't like wine, right? I like things that are more sweet, and wine alcohol tends to be more bitter and stuff. So something like that, I'm like, wow, holy moly. It's like even just like the wine is suited to my particular tastes. And the idea of tapas, it's almost like the equivalent of dim sum in like Chinese cuisine, where it's like these little small plates. And it's like I'm the kind of person that always likes to just like bite-sized pieces and sample a little bit this and this and that. So I love the idea of tapas. I'm like, there's just so many things about this country and like this culture and like this particular place, specifically in Andalusia, by the Andalusian coast, Malaga, it was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know, it's just like it was like so perfect. It was like a congruence of so many things that already aligned and matched with like my soul, the resonance of my soul. Especially like this was like 2016. So it's like this idea that like in the vortex, everything that you don't even express verbally or articulate or even necessarily can say consciousness, like your soul already knows who you are at core. And this is really what it means, how travel opens the portal to your true self. Pardon me, travel opens the portal to your true self. And your true self, you might, you know, you can feel it, but like when it's expressed in the physical world, you're like, wow, I didn't even know that existed. And that's the magic and the awe and the wonder and the possibility of simply allowing your intuition to lead. It's not about planning an itinerary. It's not about like acting from a place of logic or strategic planning or whatnot. I never even heard of these places per se. I never had the logical conscious desire to go to Spain. It wouldn't even have been a place that I would have chosen to go to if you just asked me, okay, where would you like to go, right? So this is the idea how, that whole intuitive journey from Vancouver that led me to all the way to Spain, the south of Spain, I was like, wow, this almost feels like a gift. This is where the magic of the universe felt like it was at play within me, for me, and by me in a sense. Like so you're co-creating the world as you go. It's like your energetic field is always like calling you to whatever you're a match for. And this is a prime example of matching up with who you are in the vortex. All these elements converge together. I'm like, wow, I got to experience more of who I really am, deep in that authentic self expression and just recognizing myself as this powerful co creator in that space. And through this series of events that kind of led me here, and just recognizing is really anchoring in that magic of the possibilities that exist in the universe, and really it's really all about at core, at truth, what actually it is. It's an energetic universe. And it's about getting yourself into that energetic vortex where your true self already is, and it's just calling you to meet, is just already waiting there for you to converge as well. So that is episode 34 of Let the Story Write Itself. And I hope this, al- if I was to leave you with a question, what place is calling you? What place keeps calling you? And why have you not listened yet? So that is episode 34, Let the Story Write Itself.